The High Council of the Galactic Concord had never experienced true panic before. For 10,000 cycles, the gathered representatives of over 300 spacefaring species had conducted their affairs with the measured calm of enlightened beings who had long ago transcended the primitive emotions of their evolutionary past. Today was different. "They've breached the Orion defense line," announced Elder Voss, his translucent tentacles pulsing with stress-induced bioluminescence. "All 7 outposts have gone silent." Ambassador Trell of the Crystalline Harmony clicked her mandibles nervously. "Impossible. Those fortifications were designed to withstand any known form of attack." "These humans," Elder Voss said, the translator struggling to pronounce the unfamiliar word. "They don't adhere to known parameters." Around the vast chamber, representatives murmured in their native tongues. The concept was difficult to process. Every spacefaring civilization followed a predictable evolutionary path, developing on gentle worlds with stable environments, gradually gaining intelligence, then technology, then achieving unity before reaching for the stars. This was the natural order. Humans were different. They came from a world that should have been impossible to evolve on, let alone thrive on. AEO, Deathworld, in scientific terminology. Earth had crushing gravity, extreme temperature variations, toxic oxygen levels, and constant natural disasters. The fact that life existed there at all defied conventional understanding. "Display the human fleet trajectory," ordered Supreme Counselor Zan. The central hologram shifted to show thousands of ships moving with alarming speed and coordination through what had been considered impassable spatial anomalies. Their vessels were unlike anything in the Concord's database, angular, asymmetrical, with none of the elegant curves that characterized civilized engineering. "What do they want?" asked Ambassador Trell. "Have they made any demands?" Elder Voss hesitated. "They transmitted a message in all known languages simultaneously. It says only, 'We come to talk. Prepare your representatives.'" "To talk?" scoffed Representative Dorn of the Methane Collectives. "They destroyed our outposts to talk?" "The outposts weren't destroyed," corrected Admiral Liss, who had remained silent until now. "They were bypassed. Our personnel report no casualties. The humans simply went around them." This revelation caused even more consternation. Warfare had protocols. Conquest had rules. This behavior matched neither. "We have no choice," Supreme Counselor Zan declared. "We must receive their delegation." 3 cycles later, the human representatives stood before the council. The chamber's environmental controls struggled to compensate for the higher temperature and oxygen levels the humans required. The 2 individuals, one female with dark skin and one male with pale features, appeared disconcertingly similar to several council species, yet subtly wrong in proportions and movements. "I am Captain Eliza Wilson of the Earth Alliance," the female said, her voice unnervingly steady. "This is First Ambassador Thomas Reed. We represent humanity." "You have violated Concord space," began Supreme Counselor Zan, "bypassed our defenses and—" "Your defenses were designed to kill," Captain Wilson interrupted, causing gasps throughout the chamber. No one interrupted the Supreme Counselor. "We chose not to engage them." "We could have," added Ambassador Reed. "Instead, we found alternatives." The bluntness was shocking to the council members who were accustomed to days of ceremonial preambles before substantive discussions began. "Why are you here?" Elder Voss asked simply. Ambassador Reed stepped forward. "We discovered your broadcasts 50 Earth years ago. We learned your languages, studied your cultures. We know that the Concord has unified this sector of the galaxy for millennia. We know you've established rules for everything from trade to territorial expansion. And yet, you ignored those rules," noted Admiral Liss. "Because those rules," Captain Wilson said, "were designed to keep species like us out." A heavy silence fell over the chamber. "Your classification system designates Earth as a Category 5 death world," continued Reed. "Your protocols explicitly forbid contact with species from such planets, labeling us as inherently destructive and evolutionarily unstable." "Those classifications exist for good reason," Supreme Counselor Zan replied carefully. "Species from extreme environments typically cannot adapt to peaceful coexistence. Captain Wilson smiled, and several council members instinctively recoiled at the display of teeth. And yet here we stand, talking rather than conquering. We come with a proposal, Ambassador Reed said. Humanity has developed technologies and approaches unique to our evolutionary path. We've mastered fusion, quantum computing, and genetics. Modification out of necessity. Our history is filled with conflict, yes, but also with unprecedented cooperation. What exactly are you proposing? Asked Ambassador Trell. Alliance, said Captain Wilson simply. The galaxy is larger and more dangerous than you know. Beyond your borders are threats the Concord is unprepared for. We've encountered them already. The hologram shifted to show recordings of battles between human ships and massive organic-looking vessels that seemed to consume everything in their path. The Void Swarm, Wilson continued. They've already consumed 3 star systems at the edge of what you call wild space. They don't negotiate. They don't communicate. They simply consume. And you believe you can stop them? Admiral Liss asked, unable to hide her skepticism. Not alone, Reed admitted. But together, your wisdom and stability combined with our adaptability and resilience, we might stand a chance. The council chamber erupted in debate. Many were outraged at the presumption, others terrified by the implications, some intrigued by the possibilities. Supreme Counselor Zan raised all 4 hands for silence. You must understand our hesitation, humans. Your arrival has upended millennia of established order. Change was coming whether you welcomed it or not, Captain Wilson replied. The Void Swarm doesn't care about your protocols or our classification. They only understand survival, something humans know intimately. As the debate continued through the night, one thing became increasingly clear to the council members. Nothing would ever be the same again. The universe they thought they understood had been fundamentally altered. Everything had changed when the Deathworlder fleet came.